It is Economic Chat. Let's talk business with Mr. Daniel Steinman. I'm your hostess, Elsie Bichimiani. This is your Power Station Energy 100, and we having a very interesting talk. If you have missed out on the previous talks, because we have been having the same talk for the past 3 weeks, because it is an important discussion to have, and it's important for you as the listener and your friend and your cousin and anyone that you know to actually tune in and listen to this talk, because it does affect you as well, and it will educate you as well. But we need to continue with some more talk. We need to talk about something that, you know, we're so scared to go take out loans. We're so scared to go do this. Anything related to taking out a loan or buying something that has interest rates.
Anything that carries an interest rate.
Yes.
You know, interest rates is also a form of tax. You can view it as a penalty, you can view it as a tax, but what it does, and this you can't get around, it reduces your spending power.
Yeah.
So just like the taxman steals a little bit from your income every month, so that the Minister of Finance can dish it out in Parliament in the budget speech, and the same thing is the case with an interest rate.
Yeah.
The interest rate is a penalty. It reduces your spending power, and it doesn't give you any other benefit other than that advantage of having access to that loan.
Yeah.
But this is now, it's like a symbiotic relationship. You know what that means? Where two organisms, this comes from biology, they can't exist one without the other. It's like a mother and a child. You know? This is a typical symbiotic relationship. The bank can't exist without you wanting something.
Yeah.
And you can't exist without the bank wanting to give you a loan. But there's all sorts of provisions and small print and fine print. And you know how it goes. But let's look at the practicality. Remember I said about a month or two ago that I don't want to say the Bank of Namibia doesn't know what they're doing. But I strongly suspect that they don't know what they're doing. Because remember, their incomes are not affected. They are in the top bracket, you know. They're
at the top of the chain.
Of $500,000 a year or more.
Yeah.
Where we not. So there's no empathy with the average Namibian.
Yeah.
It's just because the Bank of Namibia is the regulator of the commercial banks, the economic viability, the profitability of the commercial banks to the central bank is more important to them than whether you and I can survive on the peanuts that we earn.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I said the interest rate was increased too fast. Remember, after COVID? In COVID, we had no option. It had to go down to 3.5%. You know, it went in that direction. Across the world, in the United States, Japan, England, France, Germany, interest rates were actually negative, meaning they were less than 0%. And then after COVID, at the beginning of, or the sort of the middle of 2022, it had to be raised again. But it was done too fast and it was done too much. So we are now at a repo rate of 7.5%. So it's increased by 4 percentage points. And I'm not going to let you trap me into that technical thing again. But let's look at what happens with your mortgage.
Yeah.
So we assume you're an average Namibian, but you're not in the majority because you've got a job.
Yeah.
And you and your wife, the combined income makes you qualify for a mortgage loan, a home loan of around 800,000. Now, Elsie, you know as well as I do that 800,000 Namibia dollar does not buy you a mansion.
Yep.
You know, if you're lucky if you get a slightly revamped house in Old Damara Lukasi for 800,000. So it's very basic, it's very entry level. But it is, I would say, it's the ballpark figure where the vast majority of home loans, new home loans, fall in that category. So if you take your mortgage over 20 years, that's 240 months. It's very easy. 5 years, 60 months. Times 4, it's 240 months. So it means that on that 800,000, every month you are, over a 20-year period, over 240 months, you are going to pay about 3,300 Namibia dollar in capital. The actual price that you paid for the house. Okay, do you have a tissue there? Because here comes the sad part. Now you're going to cry. You're going to pay 3,300 every month in capital, bringing down the mortgage. Guess what you're going to pay in interest? 7,800. At the current interest rate on a 20-year mortgage, the monthly installment, the interest rate is more than double than what the capital payment is. So your 800,000 Namibia dollar house is going to cost you in the region of about 11,000. If you add your insurance to it, you're going to come away of about 12,300 in a month. Now, Elsaby, the figure alone should show you how sad the reality is.
Yes.
Because if a young couple, both of them have jobs, even if they are professional, if they want to be able to afford a $12,000 a month mortgage payment, the bank will not look at them unless the two together earns about 25,000 to 30,000. Now, the moment you go to 30,000, you count on your fingers how many friends do you know that earn more than 30,000 a month? Huh?
A
few, but they're not many.
Not many. Not many. Yeah.
And they are lucky, or they are very well qualified. Yeah? And I'm talking young couples. I'm not talking people in their 50s or 60s that had a whole long career of generating income. I'm talking young couples where they can't spare a cent. So remember what I said is that I don't want us not to pay interest. It's a principle of the economic system. I'm saying a 7.5% repo rate is too high. It must be 5.5%. That is a reasonable, realistic repo rate for us. That will bring the mortgage rate down from 11.75% to 9.75%. Now, here's the kicker. That relatively minor 2 percentage point adjustment will save you $1,333 every month on your mortgage payment. And for a family where that $20,000 or $25,000 or $30,000 income is sliced up, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
2 or 3 days after payday, there's nothing left. It's gone. Because it paid the house, it paid the car, it paid the school fees, it paid the groceries. There's very little left. $1,333 is a significant amount, because that will enable that household for the first time to start saving a little bit of that. You see, and this is why I am advocating that the repo rate must come down by 2 percentage points, because it will provide the relief that the average Namibian household is now desperately looking for.
Well, I definitely hope that someone at Bank of Namibia has tuned in to listen to what you just said right now, and we will advocate for that repo rate to come down. But thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Steinman. It has been an awesome talk, great talk, very educative, very interesting, and hopefully we will still touch on it in the near future. But we have to say goodbye, unfortunately, and we will meet again next week.